Alright fellas, here we're back with Pokemon Masters, and today we've got the survey for October of 2023. Very glad we're actually getting this. I don't know why it's come out. I'm going to guess it's because the r/Pokemon Masters community recently did a survey that, provided, some feedback for the developers or whatever. And of course, obviously, we do get a survey generally around the time the anniversary ends, drops, something like that. So, obviously, we were bound to get one of these. And I do want to say that put your own opinions on this. I am just going to give you a good overview of what I did and my current satisfaction level and, maybe give you a little bit of ideas. I'm not trying to tell you to feel a certain way about this game. However you feel, you should put that down in the survey. This is what this is for. It's for community feedback, whatever, right? But I'm just going to kind of give you a little bit of a guide through this and etc. So I'm not going to tell you how to feel about Pokemon Masters EX. I just put a neutral stance because I do feel that there are a lot of good aspects about this game and negative aspects, so that's why I put what I did. You can read through this if you like to. I just pretty much put, I like what the game does. There are some aspects that I don't like and I think should be improved on, etc. How are you feeling about the Trainer Lodge? Again, whatever you want. I'm personally satisfied with it. It's the story content. How do you feel about the stories? What are you hoping for in Pokemon Masters' stories, etc.? What type of content do you want to see in the future? Obviously, all this stuff is up to you. What would you like to see in terms of social elements? People are getting the idea that this battle content that lets players compete against each other is meaning PvP. This is more so similar to something like the Prestige event or, the ranking system in the Legendary Gauntlet or High Score event, to where you would kind of, in those aspects of the High Score event and Gauntlet, it's more so of a social competing. It's not like for rewards. I feel that something like this would be for rewards, but again, it would be something like the Prestige event. But of course, obviously, you would want it to be handled a lot better, right? Something that is pay to win or, whatever, not really the biggest aspect, but I feel it could be fun, right? So that, of course, again, up to you. Anyway, next we like to ask about trainers. What are your reasons for having a trainer? Obviously, put your own answers. And they ask, what are your, 6 favorite trainers? Of course, put your 6 favorite trainers, Obviously, I've got my top 5 plus Volo in here, so, and then out of all those trainers, who you like the most, whatever, and then put your combination of trainers you would like to see interact. This basically means what trainers, in the question, what trainers would you like to see interact with each other in story events? For example, seeing Volo and Cynthia, that's what I put, having them interact with each other in a story event, which is probably going to happen anyway, right? But I want to ensure that. Anyway, how do you feel? Do you feel like you can't win battles? Obviously, it's just very basic questions here. To extent, do you play the high difficulty events? Do you play the Stadium, Legendary Gauntlet, or High Score event? Do you play every time it's available, or have you never played it, right? Very basic stuff so far. And then, why would you play these events? For good rewards, to test out the strength of your sync pairs. You want to play different events. You want to share results to others. You want to test your skills, etc., right? I just kind of put my different answers. Whatever, right? It's really just up to you. And this is where we get into a little bit of interesting stuff, where I think that people should probably start having a, I'm not going to say, again, feel a certain way, but this is something I feel is kind of important. How familiar are you with the new roles for the sprint and field, the sprint field roles as well as EX roles? Of course, you can put whatever you want here. If you have never used one, then you've never used one, right? But this one I feel is important. How satisfied are you with the new roles for sync pairs? Put your satisfaction for sprint and field. That's, of course, always up to you. It does not matter. For the EX roles, obviously, again, same thing, but for your thoughts about them, I would recommend people put the desire of putting field and sprint EX roles onto sync pairs. I feel that there are a lot of sync pairs that can benefit more from the field and sprint EX roles than the striker, tech, or support EX roles. And I really do feel that we need these in the game as soon as we possibly can. Otherwise, a lot of characters, most notably support sync pairs, are going to continue to get mediocre buffs, to put it lightly, right? I mean, Neo Champion Caleb getting a tech EX instead of field or sprint is not good. Same thing with Penny. Obviously, her only... Sorry, I probably shouldn't have said that, but, Penny, she got the Striker EX roll for her Fairy rebuff, right? But, again, that's it. That's the only... You're getting AoE Fairy rebuff. That's it. Same with Neo Champion Blue. Those type of characters, right? So, really, I would probably recommend mentioning Field and Sprint EX rolls, and, of course, put your other thoughts in there as well. And then, obviously, the next question just tells you, what games you've played, how old you are, your, gender, so identity, whatever, all that stuff. And finally, if you have a message for the development team, please share it here. I've been receiving some DMs and comments or whatever else of people using my video for all that stuff, putting it in this section and whatnot. So if you do want to do that, go for it. And I'm honestly not kind of sure it's a good idea to put it in there, but hey, if you want to go for it, of course, that's always going to be up to you. I'm not going to control your actions. I just kind of put them to put, I want the development team to be able to work a little bit closer to the player base to see what the player base is wanting, what is going to make the player base, more satisfied, dissatisfied, whatever, so that, the game can work together. We can kind of work together to make the game a little bit better, make it, serviceable to a bigger group, bigger audience, etc. Because I think that honestly is the best for the game, is that if the development team would just, take a little bit of time to listen to what the player base is thinking, which this is a good step, right? Having this survey out is a great step, and all of that, things things that people are dissatisfied with, such as like variety scouts last year. A lot of people were kind of upset with that. The mixed scout that is coming out very soon is obviously something that a lot of people are also dissatisfied with, and understandably so. The decrease in monthly gems, especially during the anniversary month, the overall increase of limited sync pairs, and etc. Those type of things, people are a little bit annoyed with, or severely annoyed with. I'm, whatever connotation you have towards it. But of course, if you do have a lot of thoughts about this, be sure to put them in here. But of course, do note, be respectful. Be respectful of the developers. They are human beings. And if you just put, this game sucks, give me more free gems, or whatever, that's not going to fly, right? They're just going to discard your comment. They're going to discard your feedback. So if you want your point to get across, put it formally, respectfully, and, just be a decent person, right? Just be a nice human being, and it can go a long way, potentially, right? Of course, the fact that we're getting the survey is already quite a good step, right? So again, if you do want to share my video down here, go for it. I'm not going to recommend you to do so, or recommend you to not do so. I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I'm not like the best when it comes to these type of things. I don't know. I'm not too sure. But either way, be sure to put your feedback and whatnot, how you genuinely feel about the game, and be sure that if you do have anything that is positive or negative to say about the game, be sure you do it in a respectful and formal manner, just so that it can actually be considered instead of, just being discarded into the trash, right? Being formal and respectful at least gives you a chance of your feedback being, noted down, taken into consideration, etc. But if you are just mean, hateful, whatever, you're just going to get your comment discarded, and that's it. So anyway, yeah, this survey, awesome. Glad we're getting it. Be sure to put your feedback and whatnot. And yeah, I'll see you all later. I hope you all enjoyed.